and get started. It feels like the number of people are starting to die down who are trickling in. So I am going to start the presentation and then share my screen with you guys. Let's see. Always got to remember how to do this. There we go. This is the button that I want, and this is the screen that I want to share. There we go. All right, so thank you guys for coming. This is a big number of people, so we're excited that you guys are interested in this stuff and wanting to make sure that your child is ready to go for the ninth grade. I know it's a big transition moving from eighth to ninth grade, and we are excited to be on that journey as we work with them to get everything prepared as they get ready for their ninth grade year, scheduling wise, and moving into the high school. So we have 4 school counselors. I know at the middle school and central, I know that they have less than us, and that's great. I know that they do a fantastic job down there, and that you guys are going to have to get familiar with some new faces. So we have 4 counselors, and our alpha we are split alpha. I know that's a little bit different as well from especially the middle school with having their counselors split differently. But we have Mr. Suchan, who is the counselor for last names A through C. Myself, Mr. Current, counseling with students last names D through J. Mrs. Huizenga, who is with last names K through RAI. And then Miss Reagan, who is Ram through Z last names. We also have Miss Spence, who is our guidance department secretary. So she helps out with like students transitioning to the school with transcripts and those kind of things and helping us track those down. And also just general day-to-day stuff that students may come up with it. She can help out with, or send them to us if we need a little bit more, if they need a little bit more help or anything. So those will be the familiar faces come next year for your students who are moving up to ninth grade. So we've used this overview for our students. It's a little bit different for the rising ninth graders because they don't have a transcript quite yet, unless they've taken advanced classes or anything like that. And we'll speak with them about that individually on what those next classes need to look like. But so they should have received their course request sheets this week. I know I took them down to Miss Bear on Monday, so she should have been passing those out to those guys. Or was it Monday? I don't know. At some point, all of the days run together at this point. But she did receive those. I know she passed those out. They should also have gotten some honors and AP recommendation forms if that is something that they are looking forward to doing. You as parents will need to make sure that that is signed off on. And then they will also need to work with their current teachers to make sure that they're ready and prepared for those type of courses. They also need to be sharing with you the course request sheet. We definitely need a parent sign off on that just so we know and you know exactly what your child is signing up for. So that way, if there's any questions when we get to building the schedule and handing out schedules, if something was missed or whatever it may have been, we know we can go back to that scheduling sheet and make sure that everything was verified and everything was good. And then the third step for them is to submit that course request sheet back to Miss Bear, I believe is the one who is collecting those. If not, it's one of their teachers, and they will get that. The teachers will get it to Miss Bear, and we'll collect those this Friday. Is when those should be completed and turned into them by. So those are the 3 steps, kind of broken down into a little bit of a way for you guys to see that, and then we're going to go into just a little bit more detail with this next piece. Again, I know that these students have not received their transcripts. Again, if it's a student who has been taking high school credit courses, they will appear on the transcript. But I know that there's a lot of students who have not started taking those classes yet, and that's okay. But we will talk with each individual student and make sure that they are aware of where they stand towards graduation. Even if they haven't started the process yet, we'll at least tell them that you need the 21 credits to graduate, that you need competency and seals and all the different things that go along with graduation, and making sure that they meet the correct credits and those are in the right buckets and all of that kind of stuff. So these will start to appear more frequently as students start to receive more and more credits for classes. We will provide these to the students as they need it. especially around scheduling time, so they know and they can be prepared as much as possible for their next steps of moving from ninth grade to 10th grade or 10th grade to 11th grade, any of those kind of situations. We'll make sure that we provide a copy of the transcript so they know exactly where they stand at any given time when they're requesting certain classes and things. So all students should have received the course request sheet. So this includes all possible courses that they may request to take. And the sheets are color coded by grade level. So if you see a white sheet, that means that they may have lost their original sheet. And that's okay. We can make sure and that it's included with them because it does say across the top ninth grade scheduling sheet. And we can make sure that those stay with the correct group. So like I said, if there are any questions, we can quickly get back to those. We keep those in a binder. We keep them for the full school year. And then once we kind of start this process of scheduling for the next year, we still have access to those. So if at any point there is any questions about the scheduling process, we can have those readily available for you. And then on the other side of the sheet, there should be all the classes they can choose. And then on the back side of it, they can then handwrite those in. So that way it kind of fits and I'll show it to you here in a second, but that way it kind of fits the 7 period. A lot of students get confused by that, and I'll kind of show you why that confusion may happen. But we just want to make sure that there's 7 slots for the students to put classes into. The student and you as parents need to make sure that they sign off on the back. The one thing that we have noticed, and this is we have already gotten all of our course request sheets back from the current high schoolers who are moving up a grade level. We have run into a lot of situations where the name on the front of the sheet is very difficult for us to read. Either they have signed it or they scribble it real fast because they just want to make sure that they get it in and all of that. But across the top, there is a place for them to put their name and student ID numbers. So that way we can make sure that we are scheduling the correct classes for the correct student. So if there are any students on here, please make sure you write that legible so we can read it. Parents, if you can emphasize that, we would greatly appreciate it. And again, the course request sheets are due back on the 15th. So this is the top part here is what the rising ninth graders core classes kind of look like. Now, if a student has already taken different courses for high school credit at the middle school, then that's why like the English 10 is listed. So if they've already taken English 9 at the middle school and they're ready for English 10, we have that available to them on here. So this is just kind of a general what that should look like and what the offers are for the core classes when it comes to next year for the rising ninth grade students there across the top. And so this is the backside of the sheet, and this is where students do get a little bit confused because they see this obviously as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so they assume that this is the exact way that their schedule will look next year. And if you look over to the right-hand side, we list the English, math, science, social studies, and then the electives underneath. So if you could help us with any of the confusion that the kids might have, how they write their classes down is not how it may look when it comes to scheduling. Now, are there going to be some kids who do take English first period, math, science, and all of that in order? Maybe, but we do not, we cannot offer that to every student. So we're just wanting to make sure that they put everything in for each core level and then get some electives in there as well. At the bottom, you can see our graduation requirements with the 4 math and the 4 English, how many social studies and sciences, the fine art credit in those. The one thing that I will make you guys aware of, and we talk to students about this too, is they need a half credit of PE in order to graduate. There are ways to have that waived, as you can see there with the seasons of sport, marching band, or in the submitted documentation. It's not just completing those. There is a form that needs to be completed so that way we know that they are doing that. But the PE in the state of Ohio is done a little bit different. I don't know why, but they've decided that a semester of a PE class is worth a quarter of a credit instead of a half credit. So you'll see there that PE credit, you have to have a half credit in order to graduate. So with a quarter credit, you got to make sure that they take PE twice. So they can either do it twice during their freshman year, once during their freshman year, and once during their sophomore year. Just any way, any combination of making sure that they get that PE credit in 2 different semesters so they can get the half credit towards graduation. Everything else is very straightforward. If they're taking a semester-long class, it's worth a half credit. If they're taking a full year long class, it's worth a whole credit. Is pretty much how that works. There are some one-offs when it comes to like CCP classes and those kind of classes that they may only last a semester, but they're worth a different amount of credit. And so those are just to keep mind of. But everything else is very specific. If it is a semester long class, it is worth a half credit. You can also see this is some of the stuff for the honors diploma. They have changed some of the stipulations with that. We are working and making sure that we get everything correct off of the new requirements. We'll have that information posted on our website. I believe it's also in our program of study. So if there's anything that anybody wants to check out on that, that's available on the State of Ohio website. It's available in our program of study as well. And then for any students who are doing AP or honors work, they have to submit in writing that they want to drop that course by June 1st. If a student does not do that, there is summer work that is involved in both of those levels of classes, honors and AP. If they do not drop by then and they do not complete their summer work, missing that summer work will count against them in their grade. So if a student is wavering at all between honors and AP and regular level courses, they need to make that decision by June 1st, or at least be ready to do the summer work and make sure that that's completed during the summertime. So this is just kind of a generic way of filling out this, the back sheet. This is a 10th grader level, but hopefully you guys get the idea. Making sure that the English 10 is across the board there because it's a full year class. Same thing with geometry or algebra 1 is going to be the same thing. Physical science, biology, world history, American history. And this is how the semesters are broken down. So if a student is taking band, that's a full year class, so they can write it clear across here. We've had a few students who we've already met with who are like, I didn't know what you guys meant by this. So we want to make sure and clarify that this is, since it's a semester, a full year class and it goes across both semesters, that band and accounting are the same way. So electives can count and be full year classes. We just need to make sure that the students write that clearly across both semesters. So that way we can make sure and get their schedule requests in correctly. Again, the honors and AP recommendation form, if any of the students are asking for those, they must complete the recommendation form. It is the student's responsibility to go to their teachers and make sure that they are getting those recommendation letters. So if a student is wanting to bump up from 8th grade English into honors English 9, they need to talk to their English 8 teacher and have them complete that recommendation form and then have you guys as parents sign off on it. And again, we listed in here that those courses need to be dropped by June 1st. And if a student is still trying to decide if they want to do honors or if they want to do the regular level courses, and they put in that they just want to do the regular level, if you guys as parents and you and that student, you guys have a conversation, you're like, hey, you know what? I think he might be ready for the jump up to the honors level. Email the counselor. I'll show that when we get back, so that way you can grab our email addresses. Email us and let us know, and we'll talk to the counselors down there in the middle school, or talk to Miss Bear, and she can talk to the teachers down there and make sure that we still get the recommendation form for them if they decide that they want to change. If a student, like I said, if a student wants to drop from honors and go down to a regular, that deadline is June 1st, and you just need to make sure that the counselors up in the high school know that request is being made. So for the rising 8th graders, we have the parent meeting tonight, and then we are going to be heading down to the middle school on the 20th, the 21st, and the 22nd. We are planning on being in the social studies classes. We're going to be in the middle rooms that combine the 2 classrooms. Be sitting in there. We're going to call students in one by one. We're going to check in with them, see if they're excited about high school. Some of them will be, some of them won't be. But we will meet with them and just kind of discuss, hey, this is what you put on the sheet. Make sure that everything makes sense. And then we'll plug that into the system for them. The system helps us build the schedule. So once we get that into PowerSchool, their request will be there. And we will be ready to start building them once we get done with everybody, including the rising 8th graders and then everybody else. As soon as we're done with that, we'll lock those in and we'll start the process of building the schedules and getting that ready for the next school year. It is important to, especially starting off, I know that it's very early to start thinking about what is next after high school, as you guys are just now entering high school. I get that. It is a big ask to try to say, okay, we're already trying to wrap our mind around going into high school. Why do I already have to start thinking about afterwards? But it is important because we are going to be scheduling students into things that prepare them for the next step. So if a student is ready and knows that they want to go to college, we're going to try to schedule that student to try to get ready for CCP classes, classes that they can take during high school that'll count as a college credit. So that way they can be prepared for that. If they're looking at going into the military, we want to make sure that they meet everything that they need, that we cross every T, dot every I, and make sure that when those recruiters come to talk to us, we have everything set and ready to go for them. And if a child is just ready to go the employment route, then we want to make sure that we have our stuff put in place that allows them to do that. If that means getting them ready for CTEC, our Career Technical Center that's out in Newark, there are certain ththings that they don't offer out there that we want to make sure that we offer here. So that way the transition from Licking Heights to CTEC is as smooth as possible. That program and the things that they have out there are really, really beneficial for our students. And if we know that a student is already kind of thinking about that during their freshman year, then maybe we do kind of shuffle a couple of things and make sure that they get everything that they need before they head out to CTEC for their junior and senior years. So that's why we want to kind of make sure that we're thinking about what is your E very early, because there are things that we can already start to put into place to help you guys as a family get their minds set on what they want to do, and then kind of plan everything out accordingly. So you've heard me talk about the program of study a couple of times. It is a list of all of the courses that we will offer at Licking Heights, and it talks about what the prerequisites are, how they go towards graduation. They talk about how many credits a class is worth, and what the credit type is. Some of that stuff we try to put onto that course scheduling sheet, so all that information is readily available in one place. But if you want a more deep dive into what each course is, the program of study is the way to go with that. We also have graduation requirements in there. Those are also on our website. So if you've had a student who has graduated 2 or 3 years ago, that graduated 2 or 3 years ago, some of the graduation requirements have changed. The credits have stayed the same, but some of the stuff for the state of Ohio has been a little bit different. And so we want to make sure that you guys are up to date with that. We are now looking at not only the credits, but then we're also looking at competency, and we're looking at SEALs. The competency is one of the ways of earning competency is looking at the Algebra 1 grade, test grade, when they take the end of course test. So our freshmen this year are getting ready to take that test in April. And then the second piece of competency comes from the English 10 test. So they will take that during their sophomore year, and then they will take that test in the spring of their sophomore year. There are 12 total SEALs. I don't want to get in too deep into what all there are, but there are 12 total SEALs that the state of Ohio allows us as a school district to hand out to students. Students have to make sure that they earn 2 of those 12. They can earn more than those. They can continue to earn them as many as they want, up to that 12 number. But as long as the students are earning at least 2 of them, then we can say that they are ready for graduation. Community service hours, starting this summer for your students who are moving from 8th grade to 9th grade. Starting this summer, students can begin earning community service hours. Students need 20 community service hours in order to graduate. So if you want your student to be ahead of the game and get all 20 this summer, awesome. That would be great. We have students who we are still trying to get to that 20 mark, who should be graduating in May. So the earlier you can get that done, the less headaches you're going to have, the less stress you're going to have, and all of that. So the honors diploma requirements are also in the program of study. Information about chords and those kind of things at graduation, and different career pathways that we're going to be offering are also listed in the program of study. And that concludes my slideshow. So I see there is a couple of questions in the chat. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen just so I can see those questions and see if there's anything that I can help out with. Okay. Okay, so the first question is, what should we put if interested in ROTC? We currently do not have an ROTC program here. If a student or family, I know in the past I've worked with, I haven't been at a school that has an ROTC program. But I know that like some schools allow partnership between schools. And I know that some universities allow some high schoolers to participate in their ROTC program too. So while we are trying to, we had a meeting last year about what it would look like if maybe we partnered with one other school to see if we could do ROTC. And then I don't know, it's a little bit above my pay grade on whether or not. I know Miss McLeod is here, our principal. So if she wants to chime in with some of this too, if we're doing anything to get ready for that. But I don't think that I don't think it's going to be anything in the near future because it is quite a big program to try to get off the ground and working with the military folks to make sure that we have everything in place.
So I can just jump in and say that I have talked to military, different branches of the military to talk to them about getting a junior ROTC here, and they want us to be able to show, because it's a large monetary commitment on their part. You know, they provide somebody full time that's here to work in the school. So what they want to be able to do is show that we have the kids that are interested in it. So what they recommend is starting a program called Cadet Corps, and doing Cadet Corps and seeing if we have kids interested. And then after running it a couple of years, then they may decide to bring a junior ROTC program here. So we are in the beginning stages of speaking with Cadet Corps. It definitely won't happen for next year. And then we also have to have the money to be able to fund that. Like we would have to pay an additional teacher that could come and do that. So that's a couple-year process, and we're starting to have the conversations, but I can't guarantee anything. So that's where we're at right now.
I think the parent was thinking ROTC in the college program, which is what I was thinking they were asking as well.
I apologize. Okay.
I went off on a totally different thing. Sorry.
Yeah. Because I told him to write it on the line thinking college. So that's was my bad. So I apologize about that. But if you just want to put ROTC, it's still going to be kind of that enroll path because they're going to be enrolling in college. So if you just want to put enroll/ROTC or something along those lines, that's fine.
Absolutely.
The community service hours for those, there was a couple questions about that. We will go over that when the freshmen come to the high school, but it is we get into their freshman classes, but it is a program called X2 Vol. It's an online program. There is an app. They will be using their school email, but I would just recommend kind of jotting down the information. Make sure if your student does volunteer, they are allowed to do it this summer, right? Counselors? I just want to clarify.
Yeah, summer going into their freshman year can start.
Moment.
We say it so much that sometimes we second guess ourselves.
Yeah. What you will need wherever they volunteer is the name of who, like the supervisor or whoever they volunteer for, and their email and phone number. And then that's the information you're going to use to log their activity. We will go through all of the process for X2 Vol with the freshmen when they come to the high school next year and get them set up with an account. So I wouldn't worry about logging it, just keep track of it. For now, as early as
we're actually changing systems over the summer too. Remember, we're changing the school links.
Okay. Yeah. So scratch everything I just said, except keep track of what you need. So.
Yeah.
Yes.
The summer
program. I'm not sure what you mean by the summer program, but I do see the next question that talks about health during the summer. We don't offer anything of like the advancement in the summer. If there is something that you want to like self-pay for and then bring that transcript to us, we can't say no, but we as a school will not be offering any of like the advancements and those kind of things during the summer. That includes taking health over the summer. We won't have that option for our students. The next one I see is when can you begin to enroll in CCP courses? And I actually just pulled up our website. I'm going to share my screen again here real quick if I can get back into it. Oh my gosh, I don't know what just happened, but I'm like now totally out of Zoom. There we go. The whole screen minimized. I was like, wait, that's not good. Okay. So this is our College Credit Plus website. So students will just need to put in the requests for CCP classes that are on the course request sheet, unless they are wanting to take something outside of Licking Heights High School. So if they want to go to, if they're wanting to take an online school through Columbus State or COTC or OSU, there's some different registration forms that need to go out, and those are listed here in the forms link here. It'll take you to a Google Drive, and it'll have different forms for COTC and Columbus State. If a student is at all interested in CCP courses, families, this is parents and students, have to watch this video for all the information that is in regards to CCP. There's also information on the slides. This is the same slideshow. It's from the state of Ohio that was shared during this information night. Is in the recording. So if you are somebody who cannot watch a video and try to get everything sunk in, there is the availability for the slides right there. The next thing that you have to make sure that you do is that this letter of intent. So it is a Google form. So as soon as you click on it, it'll take you into a Google form, and you'll need to fill it out. Again, this is parents and students have to fill this out. So one form, you only have to do one form, but just make sure that the parent is there to sign off on the form. This is because there's information that the parent has to know. For instance, if a student were to fail a CCP class, it doesn't matter if it's one that's offered at Licking Heights or if it's one that's offered at COTC or Columbus State. If a student fails that class, there is a cost that is attributed to that class. And that will be a fee that the family will have to pay. This is a state of Ohio kind of requirement. It is not just a Licking Heights thing. It is a across the state thing. So I know that there are some classes, and there are some, and even if a student fails that class, that failure stays on the student's college transcript forever. There's no way to get that taken off or anything. So the CCP jump is a very big jump in terms of academics, but it is also a pretty serious jump when it comes to future implications. Holy cow. If I could speak English, that would be a lot better. But there are a lot of future impacts that can be had, both positive and negative, when it comes to CCP classes. So it's a big jump. So we want to make sure that families, students, and parents are all aware of all those big things that can happen. I'm trying to see if there's any questions. I see a couple of them we've answered in the chat. So is there a form for current 8th graders that need to be filled out for when they do the community service hours? So again, we want to make sure that we wait until the summer. And what I would suggest is, I believe the stuff that is required, and I'm glad Ms. McLeod reminded us of the school links aspect, because I had kind of forgotten about that with the community service. I believe the same information is needed. So when a student completes the community service hours, make sure that you jot down the person who is in charge of the community service. So if it's like at a church, whoever is the leader of the volunteers needs to sign off on the hours that he was there, or that the student was there, I'm sorry. We need the email address and possibly the phone number for that person. Because if it's like X2Vol, those hours need to be verified. And so a thing will be sent to them that says, yes, this student, John, was there and he did complete these hours. So there is that verification step that will need to take place. What qualifies as community service? So community service is, a lot of it is boiling down to making sure that it either is A, not for a grade, and B, not for pay. And Also, it can't just be, we need like you as a parent just need a babysitter for the night or something like that. We would like it if it was something that was outside of the home, and it doesn't have to be too far outside of the home. We have had multiple families who have, or multiple students who have said, "Hey, I'm going to rake my neighbor's yard for a few hours." That works. You just need to make sure that you get the contact information for that neighbor, so that way we can verify those hours and everything too. Or if you're at a church or a food pantry or something like that, I know that there are a ton of places in Pataskala that are constantly looking for help. So I know that there's a Pataskala Facebook page. If you want to jump on there and say, "Hey, I've got a kid, I need out of the house for a few hours and they need to get some community service hours," I'm sure that somebody will volunteer some time to have your child do something for them. So if you just want to have that for it, that would work. Trying to read the
I was
chat as
going to
well.
answer the when it's a question was, when do you recommend taking CCP classes? It is a case by case, student by student basis. I can't say there's one hard and fast rule. I had 4 kids take CCP. All 4 were kind of at different ages, different years. If you need more personal, like, discussion, I would reach out to the high school, whichever one of us is your student's high school counselor. You know, some kids are ready early on. It is a big responsibility. It is a very different shift than high school courses. So you want to make sure they're ready with more of an independent learning, because it's not so much teacher focused. They have to be able to, you know, kind of do a lot more outside of school. So, if you have more specific questions on your student, reach out to one of us. I hope that helps. But the foreign language requirement for honors, is that for the honors diploma, I'm going to assume? The honors diploma foreign language requirement is either 3 years of one language or 2 years of 2 different languages. So if you take 3 years of Spanish, that's your foreign language requirement for an honors diploma. Or if you take 2 years of Spanish, 2 years of ASL, something along those lines.
This is the next one I see is, can you explain more about the summer courses? Our summer courses are for credit recovery. So if a student fails, let's say English 9, we're going to give them the option over the summer to recoup that that credit by taking the English 9 over the summer. The F will still stay there, but they still have to get that credit in order to graduate, because they need 4 English credits to graduate. So we're going to make sure that they have the opportunity to take it over the summer. We do not offer anything that accelerates a student over the summer. We are solely focusing that time in the summer for students who need to make sure that they're staying on track to get to the 21 credits in order to graduate.
The fine arts, the last question there says the fine arts, parent thought the fine arts counted towards the foreign language credits. Those are different pieces of graduation requirements. The fine arts would be either like your regular art class, drawing, ceramics, painting, also band, choir, any of those are your fine arts. And then the foreign language would be, right now we have Spanish, Chinese, and ASL, American Sign Language.
And those are elective credits. Yeah, they don't fall under fine arts. There's a question. Did you answer the question about the computer programming classes?
We have
So
not.
it
I was
says-
just, yeah.
Yeah, why are there no computer programming classes after this year? That is not the case. I'm not sure where you heard that from. We do have some basic classes that freshmen can take that are on their sheets. I believe Google Apps is on there. Is there another one? Counselors, I'm trying to remember. I thought computer
That last
applications.
one, it's not a computer programming, but they do some different programming type things to create the 3D sculpt, 3D things. Those are the only 2. And then we have a comp TIA, but that's, I think, for sophomores.
That's not for freshmen. So when you have your when you have your scheduling sheet for freshmen, there are some classes that are, that are for freshmen. And as your student progresses, there are going to be other classes that are available to them. As far as the computer programming classes, there will definitely be programming classes. Right now, we're in the midst of changing a teacher, and teachers carry very specific licenses, or sometimes not even licenses. They have a different skill set. So our sorry, I got Troy's problem. I can't speak today. Our current technology teacher is leaving to go to Columbus State. He has an amazing opportunity to do that because he's been teaching Columbus State classes for us here for years. He's very specialized in JavaScript and Linux. The next person that we hire may not have that specialty of JavaScript and Linux. So we have to watch what we put on the scheduling sheet. So once we know our next technology teacher and what courses they are able to offer, then we can tailor to that. But we will have CompTIA A+ certificate or A+ class, which leads to a CompTIA A+ certification. That is more of your networking and your troubleshooting of computers. But it is our intention that we will have a very robust technology course offerings because we are partnering with COTC to really develop our pathways to make sure that students are ready to either go into IT, cybersecurity, or I'm sorry, the pathway for Intel. Semiconductor, there we go. So semiconductor. So we're really focusing on those pathways and making sure that we have all of the IT classes that are necessary for those different pathways. So they will be available, and the basics are available to your freshmen.
And one really cool thing that I heard, and you talking about Intel, Ms. McLeod reminded me, we're actually physically the closest high school to the new construction of the Intel plant. So I think that is going to be an incredible opportunity for our students to, once they get that all up and running, I know maybe for the students who are currently at the high school, maybe it's a little bit down the road, but for you guys, as students who are coming in as ninth graders, I assume that it'll be up and running a little bit more than it is right now, obviously. And there are going to be a lot of opportunities for internships and different things that are going to have opportunities for our students to start the process of learning about what they have to offer there, and what they can do there, and how quickly our students can get a job out of high school there, and continue to work their way up once they get there. And I say that about Intel, but we also have a lot of places around around Licking Heights that offer that stuff now. We had a woman in today to talk to some of our students who's a research tech at Nationwide Children's Hospital. And as she was leaving, she was like, "Hey, did you know about the summer program for your students?" And I was like, I didn't. And so she emailed me a link to the summer program that they do at Nationwide Children's Hospital that allows students to volunteer and do different things in the medical field. Those things are already established and up and running. So our students can take advantage of that right now. And I know it's downtown Columbus, but if a student is really interested in the medical field, that's a great opportunity for them to get their foot in the door and kind of see what it's about. And the other thing that we talked about too is sometimes it's good to see the things that you don't like and also see the things that you do like. So she said that she had a person in there last summer who thought for sure the medical thing was going to be exactly what she wanted to do. And they got through the program and she said, "So how did you like it?" And the student goes, "Well, I found out what I don't want to do." And sometimes it's that narrowing down is a very important piece of the puzzle for students to figure out what they want to do after high school. And that's a no risk way of figuring that out by doing that way. So, and if you guys are on here and you guys are probably across the board as parents and different career pathways, and different things that you guys do. And so if there are opportunities that you guys have for our students, we would love to reach out to you and connect with you guys and connect our students with opportunities that you guys may have, so that we can hook students up with different things. So just keep that in mind as you guys are working through the day. If your boss comes up with something that sounds really cool, we would probably think it sounds pretty cool too. So just let us know of any of those opportunities that you may have at your employment place.
In December coming up, so I know that seems like so far away, but it's, 9 months away, it's right around the corner. We will be having in-person parent meetings to discuss our pathways. If you look in our program of studies, you'll see the current pathways that we offer. And Mr. Current, are you sending out the program of studies? Because that's not on the website yet, is it?
I was going to touch base with you today or tomorrow morning, to figure out how you want us to share that. Because
Okay.
I don't think it's on the website yet. There's a couple of things that I want to get on the website that's not there. So I was going to see if
Okay.
there's a way for us to kind of get that stuff updated.
Perfect. So the current program of study shows you the beginning pathways that we have started developing. And over this summer, we will be developing more pathways. And what you'll see in there is that we've been working really hard with some healthcare pathways. So right now, students, their junior year, they can take the STNA class and then get certified as an STNA person. But then their senior year, they can decide, do I want to go to COTC and start an LPN pathway to become a licensed practical nurse? And they could get 2 semesters done before they graduate, and it's only a 3-semester program. Or they can choose to take an EKG class that we are going to be offering here at Licking Heights, and they can become a certified EKG tech. We will also be offering a point of care technician certification here at Licking Heights, and they can get certified for that. And that starts their junior year. And so we're really trying to develop these pathways that are giving kids certifications in different areas so that if they choose to graduate from high school and go right into employment, they can do that. Or if they choose to go to college, we'll have those pathways where they can do that too. So again, in December, we'll have more information about that, but we're really trying to enhance the educational experience for kids to help guide them in what they want to choose to do. And then, like Mr. Current said, if they decide they don't like that, then it's no skin off their back, right? They've tried it, they don't like it, and they can move on to the next thing. So like I said, we've been working very, very hard to make sure that we're giving kids amazing opportunities. And so you'll see more of that come in the middle of their freshman year, and they'll be able to start scheduling accordingly for their sophomore year.
There was one more question. Are those internships open to incoming freshmen? We don't have any like established set. These are the internships that we as Licking Heights endorse and take and you guys can run with. But if you're able to find something, I know a lot of internships, and this is kind of the wrinkle that we have to navigate. There are certain age requirements that come with some internships, some apprenticeships, and those kind of things. So if you are able to find something that does take a child your age and allows them to do certain internships and those kind of things, if you just want to kind of work with us, we can help you vet things, make sure that things are what they're supposed to be, and we can kind of walk with you guys through the process to make sure that everything is taken care of, and that you guys are doing everything that is correct and getting everything set up, so that there's no issues going forward with any of that kind of stuff. I think that's the last question in the chat so far. So, does anybody else have anything else that they would like to ask? Or, oh, I did say that I was going to share our email addresses at the so let me go back to that slide, so that way if you guys want to jot those down, you can. Oh, I just totally messed up and I went full screen before I was ready to share. Then I couldn't get back. Okay, so there's that. And share this. So if you guys wanted to take a screenshot or anything like that, our email addresses should be loading. There we go. Those are our email addresses there. They're also on the website. So if you want to go to the high school website, we do have a counseling page there that has all of our stuff listed out there as well.
Also, the letters there are based on your the last name, student's last
Yes.
name. There was one more question. For extracurriculars to count as gyms and have to be a school sport? Yes, it does. At this point.
Except for flex credit, Kira.
Okay.
So
Oh.
depending, right? Like remember we talked about if a kid takes horseback riding lessons and you know they have things signed off by their horseback trainer. We have forms that they can fill out for flex credit, and for extra, I'm making sure I get this. To count as gym, does it have to be a school sport? No, they can take PE class or they could do flex credit, like if they have like, you know, a couple years of Taekwondo during their high school period time, or a couple years of horseback riding, things like that. Yeah. So
And that has not been something in the past. So we have
sorry.
to.
Okay.
No,
I
you're
should
totally
probably
fine.
check on that then, but
No, you're
I
right. We
think
have
that's the
talked.
way it should
We
work, so
talked about it
let's
at the
see.
beginning. Yep, we talked about it at the beginning of the year. So, because even when you said it, I was like, wait, are we really doing that? And I was
Right.
like, no,
I'll
we.
verify. I'll verify with district office to make sure I'm not like making up stuff. But normally we could use a flex credit form for somebody like that. And as long as you have documented, you know, from that agency, whether so this parent is saying competition dance, as long as we could verify that with the agency, and they could send, you know, put something on official letterhead or whatever, we could do that for flex credit. So I'll verify that though before I set that in stone. I'll check with the Board of Education and with Mr.
It has
Holtzman.
been a long-standing request.
Okay.
I know that families have asked in the past. So
Yeah,
if we're
it
able
makes
to
sense
provide
to
that, it will
me.
be great.
Yeah, it makes sense to me, but I guess I need to make sure we're following board policy. And so then Melissa says, well, what if my child plays a sport for another organization? And it's the same thing. I think that should fall under flex credit, but I'm going to verify all of that to make sure I'm not giving you bad information.
Yeah, like we've had a couple of those types of situations that are being kind of explained in the chat. And if and I don't want this to sound incorrect. But I think in the past it has been keep it as simple as possible. And so it's been if it's a no for one thing, it's a no for everything kind of thing.
Yeah.
But there are situations like Melissa put, like if a kid is playing travel hockey, and we don't offer hockey, there should be it makes sense that we should be able to offer something for that. So I think if the board hasn't already approved it, they should approve it very quickly for us. But I mean,
I'm
makes sense.
texting the assistant superintendent right now saying, uh-oh. Yeah, so we'll get you
Yeah,
an
I
answer.
mean, so like, and I've worked at other schools who some have allowed those kind of things and some have not. So it is definitely something that if we're able to, great. If we are not, I'll be at the next board meeting and I will ask for us to be able to get that changed.
I would like to value the time that they put into their sports. So we'll see what they say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then like once if you I know some of you guys are in the chat just kind of giving us some examples of what your kids do and all that. If you could email us and just kind of let us know that, so then that way we can give those as examples to our either assistant superintendent or our board as things that our students are doing outside of the classroom, then we would appreciate that. And then once we are able to verify and make sure that whatever the form is that we need to do, then we can reach back out and let you guys know that those need to be completed and what that looks like. Does anybody have anything else? My goal was that this would last less than an hour. So we have met that mark so far, unless you guys start pouring in more questions. We've got 7 minutes to get under my threshold that I was hoping to get for tonight.
Thank you all for coming.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anybody. So if you guys want to jump out, again, thank you guys. Like Ms. Hazenga said, thank you guys for coming. This shows that we have some parent participation with this class. And the more parent participation that we can have with things, the better the high school experience is going to be for our students. So please continue to participate. Please continue to chime in. If you guys have something that you are like, holy cow, this is an amazing opportunity for our students, please reach out to us as counselors, or admin team at the high school. Let us know, because sometimes we are stuck in our four walls of the high school and we sometimes don't see outside of it very well. So you guys are sometimes our eyes and ears to those types of things. So just keep us in the loop on if you see anything that sounds like a great opportunity for our students to take part in. And again, thank you guys for coming. If you guys want to head out, that's great. If we want to stop the recording and try to